Good day there. Let's see. I go to the forest today, but first we're gonna just grab almost the last stuff from the garden, I would say. Not gonna be too much from the garden anymore this year. I think on the weekend there's gonna be like a chance that it drops to minus during the night, and then if it does that, then the tomatoes and the beans, or the last of them that's left, they're gonna be done. 100% done after that. You can still pick, like the parsley is still kind of nice here. You can still get some of this. I mean, it's kind of turning yellow in some spots too, but parsley is like grass, so it kind of just grows until it gets too cold, like way too cold. Just grab some of that. Then we'll take some beans, some weirdo beans. And then the last, I don't know if there's any cobs that are worth harvesting. Maybe there's like one cob. And then I see a few red tomatoes there that we for sure can harvest. Took this long to get the notification. Well, that's still pretty good. I've definitely had people say that they get their like Twitch notification like half an hour later or an hour later or something. So a few minutes, that's still pretty good. Good day there, Jen. We're just gonna harvest some of these beans. There's probably like some of them have gotten kind of, you can probably eat these too. They're kind of more ripe, but I like these fresh ones. But there's going to be probably some that do not get ready here or something, but we'll just get some, and then the rest is good to put in the ground. It's going to work. These beans probably are like nitrogen collectors, so they're going to, even if nothing else, they're going to improve the soil. But yeah, we can grab a few that look good. But yeah, this is not definitely now the last of it. Pretty much, you can see the leaves are turning yellow on the beans, or even, and pretty much everything else is harvested. We'll see the corn. Might be, I don't know if there's even one cob left. We'll see. There's maybe one there, but it's definitely fall now. So in a week there might have been some night that it drops to minus degrees maybe, and then it's rip for everything. So maybe the last harvest we have this year. If not the last, then one of the last. So yeah, most of these stalks, this is like just empty. I'm gonna chop these down then. But here's one cob. There might be something in this, but then this is just like some side growth. I don't think there's really anything in there. We can check it. This one probably has something inside. Feels like summer lately here, 30 degrees. Yeah, this is the first day. No, when we went biking on Monday, I also had long-sleeved shirt. This is the second time I have a long-sleeved shirt in 5 months, or like 6 months almost. So that's probably gonna tell you something. It's been warm here. It feels so nice actually to have a long-sleeved shirt on and not like do this and be sweaty. It's Yeah, enough warm weather for me. I have a bunch of things that I want to do, but I'm only gonna be able to do them when it's a little cooler. So it's so nice when it's cooling down now. There was still a pretty nice cob. I thought I took all the good ones. There's still one decent one right here. That's still a nice one. Then the rest I think are gonna be super small. We'll see if there's anything else worth harvesting. That's just some like many of the plants, they grew these like side cobs. I don't think there's gonna be much inside this. I already took the main cob, and this is probably gonna be maybe just empty. We'll see if there's anything worth eating. Nah, so this cob, it didn't like, it grew a bit, but then it didn't fill any of these. So I think that's gonna be for most of these small secondary cobs. I think that's gonna be the case. We can check them, but I don't think there's gonna be much. So I can just chop these down, mulch them down next, because there's not gonna be. They're not growing any cobs that have anything on them anymore. No, this is the same. And there's maybe it grew like filled a couple of seeds there, or a couple of kernels. But yeah, these are the secondary ones. The one I showed, like each plant had like one good cob, and then they have a lot of these like secondary cobs that didn't really do much. I guess we can eat these few seeds we got here. But yeah, I think even the same plant producing like 2 or 3 cobs is pretty good. Like this didn't materialize too much, but it still tried to produce a second one. But yeah, that one's empty. That one's empty. Yeah, I think that's all. Now there's just the stalks left. I'm just gonna chop them down later, mulch them in the ground. This one has something here, I think. Here's like a really small one. It tried to grow like, even there's one. It tried to grow like three cobs. There's some bugs even in this one. I think this one is there's not gonna be much. Nah, this one looks a little different. This maybe got a little bit further on, but it didn't really fill many of these. Maybe like 5 seeds filled up. We can eat them right now. It's so little, but the rest we're just gonna throw here. I mean, the few seeds that are here, they're fine. But yeah, that's the corn. All the corn harvested. Beans, some left. But they're probably gonna die here in a few days when it gets to maybe -degrees. Then we got the tomatoes, which I think, yeah, we have a few good ones here. This one is kind of ripe. That one is kind of ripe. This one looks good. So yeah, quite a few red ones. This is good. I've really never grown tomatoes, and there's a lot of these green ones. So I mean, I'm gonna let the rest grow, and then eventually it gets too cold, and then the plant dies. But at least we got some tomatoes. I already took a couple earlier, I think. That's probably all the ones that are good now. Maybe there's one here too. This one is not really red yet, but when you harvest them like this, in a few days this one will turn red. I see a couple of red ones down here. They're really, yeah, this one is good. There's more red ones than I thought actually here. They're just hiding down here. A bunch of them actually. I thought there was gonna be like 2 or 3, but we got more than we can handle. Our bucket's gonna be full now. Yeah, let's see if we can dig out more from there. But yeah, these tomatoes, they seem to do the same thing, like they just continue to grow and grow. Like there's these really small ones that just started to develop. So, I mean, if you would have an endless summer, or maybe grow these indoors, then these could produce for a long time, I think. There's still one down there. Can we even get that one? It's kind of against the ground. Might be not so good. No, it's still fine. It was against the ground, but... And there's a frog. Frog wasn't even eating on it. Let's wipe it against some grass, get the dirt off. I'm gonna, of course, wash these with just water before you eat them. But yeah, that's a decent harvest. Tomatoes, corn, beans, parsley. Probably a couple of kilos of things. Yeah, that's gonna be I'm just gonna eat like a little bit now and a little bit then. But yeah, I mean, if you would eat, this is probably like weight wise. This is like 2 kilos. I mean, if you eat all this, then that's kind of a meal. But I think I want to mix in some other things too. But it's, yeah. But that might have been the last harvest for this year. There's still tomatoes, there's still beans. But corn is all harvested. These mini tomatoes, I don't know what they do. They produce some green ones. There was some red ones earlier, but these seem to have like stopped growing. They've been green like this for a long time. But these I've had before, like mini tomatoes, but first time I had like normal tomatoes. I supported these with like some strings, but when they produced like a lot of tomatoes, it was so much weight that they still went over. So ideally you would want these to stand up maybe a little bit, but I mean, they're still growing like crazy. Got some water on the screen. That's why touch screen isn't working. Or maybe my phone froze just otherwise here. It's always when you get a little bit of water on a touch screen, it gets kind of unresponsive. Oh, no, it's working. Yeah, it's just a little garden. As I said, most of the stuff is harvested. It's fall now, definitely so. Yeah, we had potatoes here, we had carrots, we had leeks, onions, a bunch of stuff that's already harvested. It's kind of, yeah, as I said, this might have been the last harvest. They said, I think on Saturday, maybe between Saturday and Sunday, it might drop to -degrees. And if it does that, then I definitely think the tomatoes and the beans will kind of die off. But if not, then we can still maybe harvest something from those places. Why is this not working now? It's just screen's dirty again. But yeah, the main objective today, this was kind of a side mission. We're gonna go to the actual forest now. Then we'll see if we can find some lingonberries or if we can find a bear. Because there has been sightings of one bear, I think, not too far away from here. So for once, chat might be correct in that we might see a bear. I think the likelihood is maybe higher. It maybe has gone up from 0.00 some percent to maybe 0.1%. Chat is always freaking out when I'm going to the forest that there's gonna be bears. Scary, scary bears. I'll just take, I just have my mini bucket here. I could take my like picker and a 10-liter bucket for the lingonberries, but I believe in this place there might just be a little bit of lingonberries. We're not gonna take the serious gear, just the casual lingonberry gear today. But yeah, it's so nice to go and walk, especially in the forest. It's kind of not so fun in the summer if it's hot. Now it's so nice when it's cool. You can do things and not break a sweat at all. Just bought Farmer's Life game. I think I've seen him play. Maybe. It depends, yeah. I've seen people play like... I guess there's some other farm type games also. Let's go here. Let's stay out on the field because yeah, when we go in the forest there it can be a little bad for the signal. It might struggle here, but when we get up on the hill there, off the field, then it gets better usually. You can check. Yeah, bitrate is not doing super good. It might cut out a little bit, but yeah, Cloverfield is doing pretty good. The Cloverfield definitely benefited from the little rain we got last weekend. Probably got almost 20 millimeters, which is not much, but considering this year it's a decent bit. Farmer's Dynasty, okay. Not heard about that game. There's probably some people making farming games, yeah. But still, yeah, ditch is pretty much dry to the bottom. So it's been a dry summer. And yeah, in preparing of the forest season, already got the forest boots on. Because I think next week it's supposed to 20 degrees today, 20 tomorrow. Then it's supposed to drop to like maybe like 13, 14 degrees. Hey, what's this bottle doing here? Is this my brother's? Why is it right there? Maybe he's forgotten it. I gotta take that. That's probably my brother's. I don't know why he would have left it here, but we'll take that when we come back. I think my brother had one of those canteens. But yeah, when it cools down now, it's going to be some forest action. Some brush cutting in the forest, and then also some cutting of firewood trees. Maybe even next week, depending on if the forecast is correct and it actually drops to under 15, then I might actually consider going to the forest. It might be rough here until we get up on the hill there. This is usually one spot here on the farm. Behind the hill, this corner. Probably the worst internet on the whole farm. But once we get up on the hill there, it should get better. The clover is pretty tall now, like knee high. It's grown decently now. But it didn't grow that fast this summer because we only mowed this 2 times. Usually we mow it 3 times. Okay, here we can take a look. The power line guys were also here. Cut down all the trees under the power line. You can kind of take a look at that and see what they did here. Yes, they cut down all the trees underneath the power line. Let's go up on the hill. Yeah, so I think my best safety gear today, it's actually the stream. Because as long as I'm like talking, if there would be a bear here, the bear hears you talking and then it runs away. So safety tip number 1 here today is the stream. The more sound you make, the better. If I would kind of try to sneak around, then that's worse. Because then you could technically end up too close to the bear. And then that could kind of escalate into some bad things. But just talking, the bear is gonna hear us, see us before we see the bear. That's the most likely scenario. Yeah, I have never seen a bear in real life. But there is definitely bears around here. There's been, like, some people have seen bears, and then sometimes you can see like those when they put plastic wrap around bales, then sometimes the bears come and tear those bales up. So that's also happened pretty close to here, where a couple of bales were like ripped open. So there is bears around, even though I haven't seen one in real life. But yeah, here you can see how they cut down all the trees here. And that's because power line. But it's nice, they cut down all that stuff, but they have not cut down, like until here we planted trees. So it's kind of always the border where the power line ends. It's kind of sketchy where they, like how precise are they where the side goes. And then from here on you're supposed to be able to grow trees. But underneath here they just, every 5 years or so they come and mow everything down. Or cut all the trees down. Yeah, tractor eggs. Sometimes they rip open the tractor eggs. And then there's not going to be a new tractor because the tractor egg is going to die. Come on. It's really bad. Killing baby tractors. That's not good. Behind this hill is kind of the first spot where there might be lingonberries. I think we're going to have to go over there to the other side, up on those hills. There might be some lingonberries. This could be one potential place, but I'm not 100% sure that there's going to be anything here. But yeah, up on hills like this you can clearly see that we could not farm here. But there could still be a decent forest growing here, but not even that is allowed when it's underneath the power line. But yeah, over here there will be a forest soon again. There's already trees growing. Planted trees and some trees that have come in the natural way. Here behind this hill I've sometimes seen some lingonberries. Didn't seem to be much this year. Just the brush that they cut down. Maybe it was there. Yeah, so here it's kind of, they're planning to build solar panel, like places with solar panels. And for some reason they don't like putting them like underneath the power lines. I think maybe it has to do like it's not much, but the power lines will, like the line itself will provide shade, and that's not good for solar panels, like even a little bit of shade. So I guess that's the reason, because this would be a prime spot to put like solar panels here, because we cannot grow trees here. I guess you could farm this, but this is unfarmable ground, so basically we can't grow anything here. Or right now this is like wasteland, so why not put this full of solar panels? But yeah, they don't put solar panels underneath the power lines. I think the reason was that the power line is providing like shade. It's not much, but it's enough to I guess not make it good. Because there's like thousands of kilometers of power line going through forests, and the ground underneath it's not used for anything. So why not put solar panels there? Instead they want to put the solar panels on the fields. So I would not mind it at all if they would put solar panels right here underneath the power line, but I don't think they do that. Here is some. There is some. There's actually some here. Some lingonberries, but these are completely green. What the hell? What's up with these? There's a bunch, but they're all green. There's some red too. Something weird has happened here. Why are they? Some of them must have started to grow later. How were my legs next day after a 100-kilometer bike ride? Pretty good. Like I had no big issues, surprisingly. Now legs feel completely fine, and even the day after, like I was kind of tired. Like the day after in the evening, I kind of got tired. I had to go to sleep pretty early, but other than that, it didn't feel that bad actually. It felt I was more tired after I did the 80 kilometers like a few months ago. But this 100k, I think the big reason was it was not hot. Like it was, it's so, at least for me, it's so important when it's not hot. I don't get that tired at all when it's like cool. I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe some sort of herbicide. No, they don't spray anything here. It's not anything with the spraying. I'm guessing why this is like in 2 stages. Like there's some that are completely ripe here, and then some are green. I would say, my guess would be it was so dry that some of these started to grow later, or maybe the pollination happened later. Like there's even some that are blooming now. I'm thinking the plants are confused with the weather. It's been so dry and hot for so long time that I think the plants are even confused. I know the strawberries were confused in the garden. But yeah, no, here they don't spray anything. The only thing is they do, like you can see these trees. Just a few weeks ago they were here and mowed down like all the trees. They have like, it's like a brush cutter. You will see maybe next week I will use a brush cutter. So a similar thing to that they use here, and just cut down all the trees before they get too long and kind of pose a threat to the power line. But yeah, no poisoning. They don't spray anything. I don't think they even are allowed to do anything. But yeah, so just mechanical cutting. Did I use same bike? Yeah, it was the same bike. Same bike for the 80k as for the 100k. But yeah, I guess we can pick some here. I think it's gonna be better over there maybe. At least over there when we went a little bit ago, it was more like even Steven. But yeah, these red ones we can pick. There's a decent bit of them here. And again, this would be faster. I have like a picker, but I'm just gonna pick a little bit, so I didn't even bother to bring the picker. These are definitely ripe and ready. Yeah, I don't even know if they used any poison like before, like in the 60s, 70s when it was like anything goes. I don't know if they even then sprayed anything here. But yeah, for sure now you're not allowed to use anything, pretty much. Maybe they could use Roundup, but I'm not sure. Like it's the weird thing, like this is still our land, like our farm's land. And the power company is like, well, they're not renting the ground, but they use the ground. So technically they would probably need like our permission or something. I don't know. Even now we get a letter that says like, okay, within the next 4 months they're gonna come here and cut the trees down. like just a notification. But yeah, what it really should be is they should rent the ground, because I mean this is on our farm that we lose like I think it's like 1.5 hectares or something here that basically doesn't produce anything. We don't get any rent for it, so it's like basically lost 1.5 hectares. Like you could grow there. Technically you could grow like Christmas trees here, or of course you could farm this, but this is like not farmable ground here. Yeah, it's pretty limited to what you could do here. Hello there, Roger. But yeah, I guess we can pick some lingonberries from here. That's allowed. Let's put you guys a little bit down so you can see what's going on. This rock might have a pretty good... These look pretty much all look pretty red here. But yeah, I read an article. There's a guy in Finland. He said he can pick 400 liters in one day of lingonberries. But he uses, I don't have the picker, but I have it's like basically a rake that you run through the plants like this, and then you can harvest like a lot faster. But still, 400 liters in one day, that's a lot. The most I've done is probably like 20 or 30 liters with the picker. We're just picking lingonberries here and just checking out the forest in general, seeing if some areas need some work. Because yeah, next week it's gonna cool down, so I think next week you guys are maybe gonna see some forest work, which you don't really see too much streamed of that. So that might be, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, then next week might be a good week if it cools down. This way I can pick the berries cleaner. That's the only downside when we pick with the picker. You end up with some trash in there, so you need to run it through some sort of like cleaner afterwards to get the berries clean. But it's like a lot faster for sure. If I would want to pick anything more than this bucket, then I would definitely use a picker. I just didn't want to bring it here now because I'm just gonna pick like a small amount. Just a little bit. What do I do with the berries? So normally if we pick more, if I pick bigger quantities of lingonberries, we make it into lingonberry jam. That's really easy to make, and yeah, and it stays good, and then lingonberry jam you can kind of put on like almost any food. So that's, but this small amount might just eat them like this, or maybe put them in the muesli or something like that. We'll see. We'll figure out some way to eat them. But yeah, on the other side they're all green there. I've never seen it being this divided, like half of it is completely green berries and half is like red and ripe berries. So yeah, weird summer temperature wise or weather wise. It's even confusing plants. Like last week I ate a few strawberries from the strawberry land. And it's really confusing eating strawberries in September. That's not the normal time when you harvest strawberries. Normally it's in like, what is it, June or July. But yeah, just picking some berries and checking if we could see a bear. There's been a bear sighting not too far from here, pretty recently. So it would not be completely out of a question to see a bear. Now look at this red gold right here. So green gold growing there, and then we got red gold here, and yeah, we might have all kinds of colors all kinds of gold here, but not the real gold. We got other types of gold here. But yeah, lingonberries, if you can find like good spots. We don't really have that many good lingonberry spots here. It's more like blueberry ground, but it's in some spots it's pretty good. I'm sure you can find some pretty good lingonberry spots if you have the right type of soil and right type of place where they like to grow. That lingonberry was very ripe. Almost too ripe. It almost tasted when they're like too ripe. It almost tastes like they have alcohol in them. I guess they could start to like whatever it's called when an organic matter starts to produce like alcohol. Ferment. I guess they had started to ferment almost. It had a little bit of like an alcoholic taste. Probably hadn't fermented, but almost tasted like it. I like lingon. My wife is allergic to lingonberries, and that's interesting. I can't say I've heard that allergy before, but I mean, you can be allergic to anything, so anything. You can pretty much be allergic to anything. I'm lucky in the way, like I don't think I'm allergic to anything, or at least I haven't been confirmed to be allergic to anything. So, but yeah, it's cool. If you're allergic or not, that's a lot of luck, I think. Some people are allergic to a lot of things, and others are not allergic to anything. Now the sun is coming out too. It was completely cloudy when we started, and now like 20 minutes later it's blue skies. But yeah, it was supposed to clear up today completely. Like that's a lot of lingonberries on one plant. All that was from one plant. I see there's some that kind of have gotten too ready already. But yeah, some patches like this, like it's pretty good actually. A lot of berries. Yeah, these are all green. I think we can move to the other place. There's a lot here, but a lot of them are completely green. The green ones, they will definitely not have enough time to ripen up this fall, which is really weird. Like here you can see there's a ton of those green ones. If they all would be ripe now, there would be so much here. And it's weird because we were over there and I didn't see any green ones there. Weird. Why don't you use your flying mount? Flying mount? Drone? Do you mean drone camera? I don't have a drone. But yeah, we're gonna walk over here, go to the other side up on the hill there. Maybe there could be lingonberries. Nah, I think it's too good ground there. But yeah, we're gonna go to the other side there, check out some other areas. See if we can find some more. I think that way might be the easiest over there, so we don't need to go to those older trees. It's kind of a jungle in there. Jungle time. They have even cut down this juniper tree a little bit. That's interesting. Usually they leave the juniper trees because they don't really grow much taller than, let's say, 10 meters, so they're usually not a threat to the power line, but I guess this one was so long that they cut it down. You can see that the only trees that they left there are like the juniper trees there. Otherwise they pretty much cut down everything. Yeah, I guess in games it's always like third-person camera if that's what the guy meant. I could, if I would have a drone, then I could kind of have the same effect here. But yeah, for practical reasons, even with a drone, I could only have the camera up like maybe 20 minutes. Then I would need to change batteries. This way I can stream for many, many hours. This is the way, I think. This area can be kind of wet. We don't need to be we don't need to be scared of wet places now. It's such a dry summer that even this place that usually is kind of wet, almost swampy here, it's like bone dry. I can feel it when I walk, like every step is like stepping on concrete pretty much. It's so dry. Do I use Minimap? Yeah, I have the Minimap is in my head. So I know where to go. I tried to mark the bear location on the Minimap today, but we'll see if we can find it. That's the main mission today, is to go where the bear is. Hello there, adventures. Yeah, the map, I got the map in the head. Minimap is in the head. Yeah, now we came into the forested area again. Or now it doesn't look that forested right now, but you can see these spruces. These were the ones we planted here a few years ago on stream. So if you were here, it was 2020, so if you were here 4 years ago, then you saw when we planted these spruce trees. Now they're definitely way bigger. And some other trees have also come up here. But yeah, we can just take a quick look at the trees while we go up the hill there. I'm gonna go up on the highest point there and see how it looks there. Yeah, I could mine these rocks, but I didn't bring my pickaxe. Also, these rocks are like it's granite, so it's a really hard form of rock. Not super easy to mine. But as you can see, the trees were cut down, the old trees. There's some bug on the stump. But yeah, that's the old tree. And there's the new tree. Yeah, we only planted spruce right here, but you can see there's pine, there's birch, there's other species coming in too. That's the natural way. Yeah, sun is out, now it's feeling warm again. Might need to lose a layer at some point. Today and tomorrow are the last days that it's supposed to be still really warm. Then it's gonna be more realistic fall temperatures after that. Yeah, a lot of birch is coming up here. Nice to have a magical tool belt. Yeah, when I do the logging, if I start doing logging next week, I kind of have like a tool belt. So on the tool belt I can have like the measuring tape. I have like a tool that you can grab logs with. So I kind of have a tool belt like that. It's not very magical, but it is like a tool belt with a bunch of tools. You could put like a lot of tools there. Like you could have an axe there. You could have, yeah, a lot of things. We're in Finland here. Is there many horseflies? No, not this time of the year. It's so late. The only thing that there might be is like deer fly. But I haven't felt a single one so far. So, yeah. That's also one thing when it gets cooler now. There's really no bugs anymore. So it's really, really easy. It's really, really easy to be outside now in the forest. Earlier there were some flies, but now it's so late in the fall that there's no really bugs. We got more. We got some things that have happened right here. Again, like last time we went to the forest, we saw wild boar tracks. There's more right here. You can see how something has been digging in the ground there. I would bet you $5 that that's wild boars. Right there they have been digging. They have been digging over the other side there. Maybe digging a little bit there. So yeah, you can always see them. Here's also a ditch going here. They're always filling in the ditches, damn it. Yeah, this is the farm's land right here. All this area here up to the bigger trees there. That's where the border goes. That's the neighbor's forest there. And then the other way it's like behind the power line there. That's again another neighbor that has that. We have found treasure today. We're gonna find more, but we already found some of this. Definitely found some treasure. Red gold. And we got green gold here also. Okay, let's see if we can get up the hill here. More rocky area here again. Yeah, but this was just the side quest, as someone told in chat. The main quest is to find the bear. We already saw wild boar tracks, so we're kind of closing in. Maybe the next one we see is an actual bear. Yeah, here we actually planted birch trees. Seem to be doing okay. But yeah, up there on the hill we might find more. We might find more lingonberries. That's kind of what we're after. Here we would, if we would come here like a couple months ago, this would be raspberries right here. More treasure. But yeah, if we meet the bear, I'm like level 10 and the bear is like level 50, so we gotta dodge the bear. We can't go head to head. We need to be a little sneaky. The bear is like the final boss. A little bit more, there's the top of the hill. From up here we can see, when you go up there it's a little bit higher even, then we can see pretty far. What other animals do we see? Well, we saw tracks of wild boars there. Then we could see foxes. We could see a wolf. We could see raccoon dogs. We could see badgers. Just to mention the bigger animals. Then we could see like squirrels and all kinds of small animals. But there's quite a bit. Oh, and all the birds and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, frogs. We saw a frog already today. I'm kind of surprised. I've actually seen a few frogs and it's been super dry. So usually you see more frogs when it's like wet. I think frogs like the water. Or more wet areas in general. Would I rather meet a woman or a bear in the forest? What kind of question is that? What kind of question is that? It's for sure more likely that you see some ladies in the forest. Not super likely, but more likely than seeing a bear. But yeah. Usually if you see ladies in the forest, then it's kind of a good thing because they're kind of like-minded. If they also like to go in the forest just walking around and enjoying nature. This looks pretty nice here, up on the hill. You can see the fields in the distance and a bunch of like younger forest here, some older forest there, and some even more old forest over there. You can go and see, there could be some lingonberries inside there, I'm not sure. I think it might be Not really the right spot, but we can go check. Are there coyotes? Nah, we don't have coyotes in Finland. Yeah, some, even if this was clear cut, you can see some trees were left. And something has been going in the tree there, maybe digging after bugs or something. There could be some bird nests in these trees too. Can I eat the bear? I think you can eat bear meat. I don't think I've ever tasted bear meat. It's not like super rare, like they hunt some bears, but it's not like a huge amount, so I don't know. Bear meat might be super expensive. I'm pretty sure I have not eaten bear meat. I have eaten moose meat, not really deer meat either. Or wild boar meat. Have I eaten wild boar meat? No, I don't think so. Yeah, here's some lingonberries here again. We'll go inside here and see. There could be some here. Now we can be in the shade. It started to be kind of hot in the sun there. I would need to go back to t-shirt mode now when the sun is out. Might have to take this shirt off at some point actually. Here's more lingonberries. Here they seem also more like they're all ready. It's not weird like in the other place where there were some were green. Yeah, here they look more uniform. Seems like it's a better lingonberry year than blueberry year. There's some lingonberries, but yeah, usually around our parts here, it's easier to pick blueberries because most of the soil here, it's like better for blueberries. But you can find some lingonberries. But I think the best lingonberry ground is like more, if you go a little bit more north in Finland. You had wild boar meat. What did it taste like? Probably like chicken. No, that's usually the answer. All the meat tastes like chicken, but probably not like wild boar. Maybe wild boar tastes like moose or something. It's like a plant eater, so it should probably taste kind of close to moose. We have golden jackals migrating in Finland. Ah, yeah, I think they had it in the news, yeah, that it could be, you could see those rare. They looked like a cross between a dog and a wolf. I think that's the thing you mean. Yeah, it was in the news, yeah. But there's probably not too many of them around. It's the same thing as with wild boars. The wild boars also, if you came here like 30 years ago, there was barely any wild boars around. But these days, there's like more. More wild boars. And I think now in the last few years, they have not like exploded as much as before. There we got the first deer fly. That's the only thing. There might be some deer flies around. Are those the predators? Yeah, I would say bears, wolves, wolverines. Yeah, that's someone mentioned that. Those are more again in northern Finland. Those are like the big predators. There's not too many around. And again, if you wanna know the stats, like I think in the last 100 years, wolves and bears have killed like 0 people. Yeah, lynx, that's also a predator. But yeah, all those animals together, they have really not killed a single human in the last 100 years. But then if you go into traffic, like just people driving with their cars, then the moose and deer, they kill like, I don't know how many, 20, 30, 50 people per year maybe. So that's where the animals are dangerous. Not in the forest, on the road. When you drive 100 kilometers with your car and then you hit the moose, that's the real danger zone. You can look up the stats, or I don't know the exact stats, but I think in traffic, like 200 people die in traffic each year. And yeah, wolves and bears have killed like 0 in the last 100 years. So you can be the judge and say what's dangerous and what's not. Have wolverines killed people? I don't think so. Like for sure there's been like some close calls with bears, but yeah, just you wait. If there would be even one person dying from a bear, then it would be like, okay, nobody go into the forest nowhere. It's super dangerous. Don't go to the forest. Ah, that's usually how it works these days. But then each year 200 people die in traffic, and everybody's just, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Not an issue. But then if one person dies in the forest from some animal, then kill all bears. Human logic 101. Are there any pagans in the forest? What's a pagan? Probably not. If I don't know what it is, then it's probably not something we have here. So yeah, I don't know, like mushrooms. There might be like more people dying from mushrooms in Finland than bears and wolves. Probably. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people dying from mushrooms, but if you eat like the wrong mushroom, then you could die from that. Are you able to pick mushrooms? Yeah, but I don't pick a lot because I don't know. Like I know like the chanterelle I would probably could identify. But other than that, like I know a few poisonous mushrooms. But I don't know that much about mushrooms. I'm more like a berry guy. I like to pick lingonberries and blueberries, mostly from the forest. But yeah, for sure, if you're like a mushroom guy, you could find there's a lot of mushrooms you can eat, but there's definitely some that are poisonous also. So you gotta know a little bit what you're doing there. Like with lingonberries here, like you can't really go wrong. There's not many poisonous berries, I would say, in Finland. And the lingonberry and blueberry are like super easy to identify. Not really much room for confusion. Is fishing big out there? For sure, some people like fishing, hunting. There's a lot of possibilities for that in Finland. There's a lot of wild nature that you can do, both fishing, hunting, things like that. For sure, a lot of possibilities. And yeah, the good thing about mushrooms and berries is you can go pick it anywhere. Like you don't need to own the land to go pick berries and mushrooms. You can just go anywhere. Salmon. Yeah, I'm sure there's salmon like in some rivers. But yeah, for the fishing, I believe you need some sort of license or something. Fishing, you can't just, or you can fish without any permits, but then you can just use like a stick and a line and a worm, basically. If you want to do anything more serious than that, I think you need some sort of license or something. I'm not big on fishing, so I'm not an expert on actually what you need, but I believe you need some permits or something. Yeah, there's some lingonberry here, not too much. We could go a little bit that way and see. Just walk around. And there usually this time of the year there might be more mushrooms, but it's been so dry that there's not many mushrooms. I guess we got a little bit of rain last week, but if there would be more rain, there would be a lot more mushrooms, I think. They usually pop up after rain. Need a license permit, but it's like 40 euros. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. You will easily spend more on a boat and gear and things like that. There's always, when talking about fishing, I always remember there's like a sketch show like Kummeli. Like I think if people are from Finland, they will know this. But they always have the sketch where there's like an old guy with fishing like with an old rowboat, and he has the whole boat is full of fish, and then you got these guys that have like 100k boat, 50k in equipment, and then they have like one fish. Always when talking about fishing, I don't know why that sketch comes up to mind. The Kummeli is like, it's legendary in Finland. It's a legendary sketch show. Pretty much, if you're a Finnish guy or girl, you probably know it. Many legendary characters in there. Yeah, they used in the sketch the guys had catch a fish lure. Then they just lost a bunch of them in the lake and didn't really get any fish. And then the old guy rows by with the rowboat and has like a couple of tons of fish in there. Yeah, this is more blueberry ground. I can see blueberry plants. Not any blueberries anymore this time, but there's a bunch of the plants around. Katsafish. Siinä meni viimeinen katsafish. Many legendary characters from Kummeli. I know when I was a kid, I always watched the Kummeli shows. Best thing ever. Probably still the best comedy show from Finland. You can look it up on YouTube. If you search Kummeli in YouTube, then there's going to be a bunch of sketches. For sure. Yeah, some other pines here. As I said, this is not the farm's forest anymore. This is the neighbors. They have not done. You could easily. These trees are pretty old. You could cut down these, some of these at least, and the wood prices are okay. I think it was some big company that bought this forest, but they haven't been doing a lot of logging. I think this is too dense of a forest here. I think we need to go back to the edge there. Might be some lingonberries there. When is dinner time? In like, what is it, 1:30? Like 4 hours or something. Something like that. Whenever we get out of here. Nah, I don't usually stream when I eat. I did stream when we were on like the longer trips, or when we're out biking or something like that. Then I might stream when we eat, but I usually don't stream when I eat. Yeah, some big boulders here too. When we go back, we can go past. There's like one huge boulder there, and it's exactly like a cube almost. It almost looks out of place, or it definitely looks out of place. But it looks. Some conspiracy guys would definitely think it's not, or think it's man-made or something. Yeah, here's some lingonberries. I believe it's like close to the edge here where we can find some lingonberries. Further inside there was nothing, pretty much. Not much here, but some berries. Get a little bit of stuff. For sure, it would be a lot faster with the. I'm pretty used to pick with the picker, so it feels kind of slow to pick by hand, or just with the hands. But it's okay. We're just kind of chilling today, enjoying of the last couple of the last warm days of the fall. But yeah, definitely need to lose the long sleeve shirt. It's way too much. As soon as the sun comes out now, it's way too much. Still warm weather. Better to just use the t-shirt. And I have to drop a layer here. Put you guys down somewhere. I need to lose a layer. I still can't get over it that it's plus 20 degrees. What is it now? 20th of September or something like that. It's really it's really quite warm for the time. But yeah, tomorrow it's gonna be like this, and then it drops to maybe more normal temps, like 15 degrees. '19th, yeah. Tomorrow but it's still the 20th of September. It's gonna be like 20 degrees, which is like, it's crazy warm. Crazy warm for that time of the year. So this year it was basically, it was plus 20 degrees or more for pretty much 5 months straight here. Like almost 6 months, which is, it's definitely crazy. Like even when it rained, it was like 18 degrees. The like 3 days of the summer when it rained, it was still like 20 degrees or 18 degrees maybe. It's so, it would be nice if it would rain more in the summer. Otherwise stuff won't really grow in the farm or on the farm. Let's see, how is the, God, I'm gonna put this down with both my hands. Our stream is working okay here. Connection always varies. Sometimes when we're behind a hill it's okay, and then sometimes it's really bad. 70 days of 25 and over. Yep, that was a record for the last last 60 years. Like most days over 25 Celsius. Actual record. And when it starts to be over 25 at least, over 20 even, I cease to function. It's not good temps for me. 15 to 20 is like perfect. Then you can do stuff and not get sweaty at all. Much better. Stuff grows better in the field. Stuff grows better in the forest. Stuff grows better everywhere. Let's see. We might go that way a bit. There could be some places. Some places with some lingonberries. I guess here's some. Here where the sun kind of shines in more. Oh, in the sun here. Oh man, it's nice here. Kind of warm, but there's not much wind today either. Does not feel like the end of September for sure. Here's some better spots. You can see all the red color there. Definitely find a little bit here. Yeah, the lingonberries are not super big because this is it's been so dry here, but at least we can get a little snack. around the tree there's a little better. Pretty small, yeah. The berry size is kind of small. There's even a bumblebee. I think the insects are in for a shock when it's going to be plus 20 like summer temps, and then in one day it's going to go to 13 degrees. And almost minus in the night. It's going to be a shocker. Yeah, these are really tiny lingonberries. Now, when you occasionally see a bigger one. Tiny berries. The number is pretty fine in some spots, but size is definitely on the smaller end. We'll get a few deciliters, I think. Then we'll go up on the hill there and see how it looks on the backside. If the forest kind of needs any work. Here it's fine. The trees are still, they've grown decently, but they're not like too close to each other yet, so can just let things grow here for a few more years before we need to do anything. And it's been filling in nicely with planted spruce here. It's been filling in nicely with pine and birch. And it's going to be a nice mixed forest. Right here is the border. This rock looks kind of out of place. This might actually be a border rock. It's kind of thin and it's been placed like this. Pretty easy to see where the border is now when one side is logged and one side is not, but I think over there we put some like red sticks down to mark where the border is. It should be pretty easy to, as long as the forest is like different on both sides, then it's easy to see the border. But yeah, if both sides have the same forest, then it can be quite a pain to find the border sometimes. Not logged forest. No, this is the farm's forest. There's neighbor side right here. It's kind of old forest, but They also have, there's like medium age forest right there. Maybe that's like 20 years old. This is maybe like 80 years old. This is like, well, it was planted 2020 here, so this is like 4 years old. It's just forest of different ages, different stages of the cycle. That's how I see it. I know some people see it as death. This is full death, and this is how it should look everywhere. But it's everybody are allowed to have their own opinion. But yeah, this doesn't look too bad to me. I know, like when we planted, it looked like, okay, there's no trees and there will never be a forest. But yeah, if we come back to this exact spot in 5 years, you won't believe it's the same spot. Because yeah, from this point forward, the trees will really, in 5 years, they will like triple in length, or maybe quadruple in length. And then you can't, when you can't see over the forest anymore, then that's when it really maybe feels more like a forest. This is more like, it's so small trees that it kind of looks more like, maybe not like a forest yet. But yeah, that's nice when you can see this is like 5 years. Then the forest over there that's closer to the fields, that's maybe that's like 10 years, and there the trees are already like 5 meters. If you walk inside there, then you can't see anymore anywhere. And then on the other side, that forest is again a few years older than this, so we can see all the different stages here. And yeah, neighbor has a little patch here of really old forest. So I mean, that's if you want diversity, then this is pretty diverse, I would say, like young forest, old forest, medium age forest, like in all age groups. Isn't that what diversity is? If everything is the same, then that's not, if everything is like old forests, then that's not really diversity. Because then if everything is the same, then it's not maybe the best. Just throwing out some thoughts. Even a natural forest, like if you leave this long enough, then the trees will eventually blow down or die, or die of one reason or another, and then there will be younger trees again. And of course, we got natural parks. We got areas that are never logged and completely like protected. We got quite a lot of them actually in Finland. And close. It doesn't look like it's more blueberry stuff here again. But yeah, this is again a little older forest. You can again here you can't see over it anymore. And there's a lot of birch that came up here. We didn't plant any birch here, so all this birch, all the trees with leaves there, they all came in naturally here. We planted some pine up here in the corner, but I think the moose might have gotten to them a little bit. But yeah, this stuff probably needs some work within a few years. It's going to be a little bit too dense, and then it's good to cut down some trees, just to thin it out a little bit. This side doesn't need anything yet. This side soon needs some work. In the lower parts, I could maybe even do something like this year or next year. A lot of birch here. It always, that's the one tree you always get here. Don't really need to plant birch that much. So it always fills in with a lot of birch. Oh, here's a really nice patch. On this stump, old stump, you can see here's a bunch of lingonberries. They maybe look slightly bigger here. I think this might be a more shaded place, or maybe more wet, and there is more. The lingonberries are a little bit bigger here. Not huge here, but you can pick some. But yeah, not many deer fly. I was thinking there might be some deer fly. It's kind of a nice and non-windy day. That's usually when you're gonna have more issues with the deer fly. But I've so far felt like one. So yeah, when it cools down next week, we're gonna start the forest season. Could cut down some birches for firewood in another place, and then there's also maybe some brush cutting needed. And I think next week might be the first realistically good time to do that. Good enough weather. Cold enough weather is basically the most limiting factor. I don't have a lot to do, so I'm not gonna go out if it rains, but on a non-rainy cool day, that's a good forest day. Good forest weather. So yeah, this lingonberry here, it basically grows on an old stump. Seems to be a decent place for it to grow. It's got a lot of berries right here. It's even nicely elevated, so it's easier to pick here. I can stand in the low part beside it. But yeah, here, pretty easy to see the border here. We should put some sticks or something here. It might be once these grow bigger, then it's gonna be kind of hard. Of course, our forest is like younger than the other side, so it should be able to not go in too much in on the neighbor's side. Like you are allowed to pick berries and stuff like that from anybody's side, but you're definitely not allowed to go and cut down trees from the neighbor's side. So when you do that, then you want to make sure that you're on the right side. And I mean, when I do brush cutting and thin this out, then if I like do that on the neighbor's side, then I'm sure the neighbor wouldn't mind it, because if the forest needs that, then he would get like free. The forest put in good shape for free, so I'm sure the neighbor wouldn't mind it then. But even then, it's of course you wanna stay on the right side. But yeah, right on the border, it might be good to just cut down all the trees, like leave a meter wide kind of channel so that everybody can see where the border is. And you can check, there's some sort of GPS thing you can see. So then I could check it if we are on or where the border exactly is. But yeah, there's a stick there. I think that one at least used to be exactly where the border is. Sometimes there's also these piles of rock. But yeah, this stick, I think it was right here. So the border it should be right here. It makes sense if it would be here. And yeah, big difference in the forest. So here it's easy to tell. I can take you to one when we go do when I do the proper logging there with the chainsaw. Then I can show you one spot where the neighbor and our side we planted, or they planted, like one generation ago, they planted at the same time the forest there, and then the border goes straight through it. The forest on both sides look pretty much identical. And it's also a swamp, so the terrain is completely flat there. That's an area where it's not that easy to know what's what, or who owns which tree, or who manages which area. It's always when talking about like forest and land, I know it's like technically you own areas, but I mean honestly, nature owns it, and we just like manage some areas. Especially in English, I think it sounds better if you talk about which area you manage. If you own it, it kind of sounds weird in a way. Nature owns it and we manage it. I think that's maybe a little better, a little more correct. But yeah, again, opinions. Yeah, here we actually hear some pines. We actually planted these also. We have not planted too much pine because the pine is really susceptible to the moose or moose damage, but we put something here in the areas where really spruce is not really the right tree to plant. But yeah, as you can see here, this tree looks pretty good. That one's kind of destroyed. That one is definitely, the top is destroyed there. So, and that one looks kind of bad. So yeah, it's tough to plant pine here. The moose kind of likes to eat those, so they get more or less destroyed. Maybe a few are okay. But yeah, we'll leave. If there's a nice birch, then I can leave that and cut down if the pines are kind of ugly. We have planted some pines in some areas, but yeah, not the best result on those. There's like a mushroom. I don't know what this is. Looks kind of old, but there's another mushroom. There's a couple of mushrooms there. The first ones I've seen today. The border goes somewhere here. There's some weird rocks, but sometimes they used to make like pile of rock when there's like the corner post. I guess if we go to that corner there, then there should be there's like a pile of rocks that marks the corner. We could actually go there and see if we can find it. Sometimes when stuff grows on top, then it's not easy to find it, but there's like a border between. It's like a corner between three landowners. Or tree neighbors. Three tree neighbors. Yeah, I think it goes right here. Border should be right here. right here close to the neighbor's forest. You can see how the trees are kind of smaller here. It's like when the forest is providing so much shade here, these trees go kind of slowly here that are in the shade. So when you go a little bit further in there, maybe 10-20 meters, then the trees are bigger, just because of the shading of these trees. But yeah, it'll be a forest here too, just a little bit slower. Thank you for the follows there. We got Earthling, Merc, and Rose. Thank you for the follows. And yeah, on this app I don't see if somebody has followed on Kik. Thank you for the Kik follows too. There might be some on this small hill. Here we also planted pine. It's like when you get to these really gravelly parts, then pine is better than spruce. Yeah. Trees look okay-ish. Even some aspen tree here. It's good to have some of that too. But yeah, it will turn out to a forest. It's always when you plant, you always think that you plant the trees so far away that shouldn't we plant more trees. But then when you come back a few years later, then there's always too many trees. Then you need to cut down some. Yeah, just a little bit more, then we can take a look at the corner post, see if we can find it. Should be able to find it. I don't have the app in the phone where you should be able to locate it like pretty close with that. I think I know roughly where it is. Here's a blowdown, I think. This birch, its neighbor's tree that has blown down here, but it's kind of rotting away already. So that's fine. If this would be an aspen tree, then all the bark would be pretty much gone from it. Since it's usually, I think it's like the moose and maybe the hares or rabbits. They really like to chew on the aspen bark. But this is a birch and it seems like the animals haven't eaten the bark too much. But you should just see if you have we haven't really had any big aspen tree blow down, but if an aspen tree falls down, then pretty much all the bark is gone. Almost looks like some machine has been there eating the bark sometimes. So yeah, aspen bark must be tasty. At least for moose and rabbits. Okay, I hear a woodpecker now. Knock knock. Knock knock, who's there? Woodpecker. Probably up in that big birch. Somewhere up there, I can't. Oh yeah, I can see it actually. Let's see if you guys can see it. It's this big birch that's closest to us. Then the first big branch that goes out to that side, maybe 1 meter up. There it is, chipping away. It's probably too much. This camera can't zoom, so you can't probably see it. But it's beating its head against the wood. Twenty more meters, and I think the corner should be there. Here again, I think we planted some pine in this corner. That looks like 2 pines very close to each other. That one is kind of eaten. That one looks okay. It's got some curves in it, which is not the best. But yeah. Yeah, it's so small. If I would have a camera that would zoom, then I could show better. That's the one thing, like the action camera, it doesn't have zoom. This guy right here, good mushroom, but not to eat. That I know that this one you should not eat. Don't know much about the ones you should eat, but this guy's not the best. Not the best to eat. Christmas trees, yeah. When we have the spruces there, that's the Christmas tree. These are pines. These are usually not used at Christmas tree, but these guys, that's bunch of Christmas trees right there. This mushroom, what's this guy? This guy doesn't look, it looks kind of old, but this one, I mean, I don't know, could be edible, but it looks kind of old, so you probably don't want to eat that. But the other mushroom there, for sure, you don't want to eat. For sure. Okay, somewhere around here, there should be the corner rocks. So visually looking, I would say this border goes like this here, and then there's one that goes that way. I think it's that pile of rocks that's the actual corner, or it's somewhere here, or then exactly those. So that should be the corner post here. So technically this tree is still on the farm side. Definitely best to cut it down so you can see the pile of rocks later. And then one border goes that way. Sus room. It for sure was a sus room. Sus shroom. But yeah, here's the neighbor also cut down pretty much at the same time as we did this. So this kind of looks similar here. They haven't done any brush cutting, so you can see this would need some work now. But we'll see if they do anything. I'm definitely planning to go over this like maybe next year. At least the worst spots down the hill there. keep it growing nicely. Up on the hills it's always, there's less like competition up on the hills, but down at the bottoms it's always a jungle. And there it's definitely worth to do something. Otherwise you end up with like millions of weak trees that all have not enough room to grow. Sus shroom. Definitely. If we had sus beans, then we gotta have sus shrooms also. But yeah, here you can kind of tell the difference already. Like I went through this a couple of years ago. You can see the trees are a little bit spaced out, but the neighbor's side it's like a jungle. I think they also planted spruce here, but the spruces are already smaller now when there's like too much competition. It's good to have some competition, but too much is good. So this looks good here, but yeah, when you go down the hill there, it's like horrible. There it looks pretty much like this on our side too. Definitely needs some work there. Maybe this fall, maybe next year. Then we can go back somewhere here now. And then maybe look at the sus rock. We also got a very very suspiciously looking rock. And it's a big one. A big suspicious rock. Yeah, when you can still walk like this is fine. But then if you go down the hill there, you cannot walk really very easily there. So that's, I guess, a good kind of rule of thumb when something needs to be done. Fall over. Oh, this is a big rocky area here. Gotta find some sort of route here. This already has some big boulders, but yeah, just wait a bit and you will see a seriously big boulder. These are very, very much smaller than that one. Oh, another good lingonberry patch. So even here, yeah, where the forest was cut down and there's like a young forest, you can see it's actually good for the lingonberries. You can get more berries actually after some logging. We maybe have, it's like 800 grams, so maybe this is like 600 or half a liter, maybe if this is full, maybe 600 or 0.6 liters. So we're kind of half full. Haven't really picking like haven't been picking super aggressively, but at least we got enough for a few snacks. Yeah, some of these, like this spruce looks very good. How many years did we plant this? If the other one was 2020 planted, I think these might be, they're not much older, maybe 2 years older. So maybe this was planted 2018 or something. So these three already is 3 meters. That one's maybe 4, 3.5. Proper Christmas trees. I guess if you want a Christmas tree, you want it to grow more slowly, because then it produces more branches. Like these are growing very fast, which is good when you're producing logs, but for a Christmas tree you want to find one that grew kind of. Get ready, chat. Thanks. I think my brother's I'm gonna have to send you over to somebody else's stream here before my brother falls down on the ice here. But yeah, I'm gonna send you off to another farmer, in case you wanna watch another farmer do some farming. Then you can continue this. And we're back, I think. It seems like the connections, they want to do that. It's always maybe around 2 hours, and then it disconnects for like a few seconds and then comes back. I don't know if it's if it has something to do with the cell tower, or something like resets every 2 hours or something. It seems to be happening kind of. I don't know if it is exactly every 2 hours, but it seems to be pretty, like, it always happens at the same time. Or not same time, but if I check let's see what the speeds are now. Yeah, it's like pushing max bitrate, so it's not, we didn't run out of like, we have good connection to the cell tower, so it's gotta be either something with the hardware, or then maybe the cell connections just reset every 2 hours or something. It doesn't need much to disconnect. It just needs like 1 second of disconnection, then it does that. But it's fine. As long as it's just a few seconds, it's fine. It's kind of part of the live streaming that kind of things happen. There it is. They come back fast. I did brush cut this just maybe 3 years ago, but birches bounce up a little bit too fast in some spots. It's fine, like a birch like that grows on the rock there. It's very far from any other tree. That one we can obviously leave. But yeah, it's when you have a bunch of trees in a very small space. That's a thing you really don't want to see. But yeah, it's not up on the hills here. It's okay. It's down. I don't even want to go look down in the bottom there. We did take a look at that like a week ago, and there needs to be something done pretty soon actually, within a year for sure. Up here it's still kind of fine. Can wait a little bit longer. Yeah, a little bit more, then we come up on the hill, and then then it's gonna be easier to walk. And then the last part, I think we need to go and walk right on the border, because there the spruces are even bigger and it gets kind of hard to walk there. But yeah, once we get out of this forest, it should be a little bit easier for a bit. Might go back to the border here. Not too many trees there. There's an old stump right there. You can see it's either burned or maybe they had like a bonfire here underneath the stump or something when they were logging here. This could be very old here. This stump could easily have been cut down. Well, close to 100 years ago. You can see like the stump is left super long. That's always a sign that this was probably cut down, not with a chainsaw. This tree was probably cut down with manual tools. Because when they did cut trees with the big hand saws, then they always left like a longer stump because it was more convenient to do it at this level than right by the ground. So this, yeah, someone might have been cutting this down like 100 years ago. And then they maybe they had like a bonfire here or something when they did the work out in the forest. Most likely in the winter. Because it's definitely burned here. At some point. I don't think this forest, or at least, yeah, I would say it has not burned. There has not been a forest fire here in the at least last 50 years. Probably last 80 years. But you can still occasionally find some burned pieces of wood, or not really, not other than the stumps. You don't really find other stuff that's burned. Yeah, it is warm. Today would be definitely way too warm to use a chainsaw or anything like that. It's gotta be at least under 15 degrees before I even start to think about going do some logging. Yeah, bug situation is surprisingly good since it's not been cold yet, and there's pretty much, I mean, one deer fly and maybe one normal fly I've felt here. So bug wise the situation is good. Now we just need the temps to drop. Maybe we can pick some, and just as I say that we actually get a fly again. But yeah, bug situation pretty good. Temp situation way too hot. Yeah, it's very, very relaxing to be here in the forest. A little bit on the warm side, but Very quiet. The only thing I can hear is like in the background you can hear some traffic noise. If there would be a little bit of wind and that would be coming from the right direction, then it would be just nature sounds. Very peaceful. No bears so far. Are there good chances to make this jar full? Yeah, I could make it. It's maybe half full now, but I haven't been picking that actively. I've just been taking a little bit from here and a little bit from there. If I would have been more serious about it, I would have taken I have like a hand picker that picks like this wide. Then it would take like 15 minutes to fill it up. But yeah, we're just getting a little snack here today. Mostly I'm out here to take a look at the forest, see what the situation is with the forest. And checking if there's any bears. We got the bear in the background. Background bear. That's the thing when I'm in the forest and doing chainsaw work, then at least you got the chainsaw to defend yourself with. With that one you could probably defend yourself from a bear. At least a little bit. I mean, it doesn't really have good range, but it's gotta be a pretty psycho bear if it attacks you when it hears the chainsaw sound. Here's a pretty good stump. Seems like around stumps they like to grow. Here's a decent chunk around this old stump. Good bit. Yeah, maybe it's a stalky bear. Stalking bear. Level 250 boss bear isn't afraid of chainsaw. That might be true. What kind of berries? Lingonberries. Pretty small ones. It's been so dry that even the lingonberries are kind of on the small side. I'm trying to find maybe a little bit like places that are a little bit more in the shade and maybe a little bit more wet places. Usually lingonberries grow in really dry areas. This year maybe might want to try to find slightly wetter spots. Usually I make jelly out of the lingonberries or jam, lingonberry jam. But this year they're so little that I'm just gonna pick a little bit and just snack them as is probably. We have maybe 3 deciliters now or something. Boy, big boulders. Selling walkie-talkies from Lebanon. I don't want those. They seem to be unreliable. Ooh, there's a bunch there. There's a bunch there too. Now I find a really good spot. Here you can probably see, like you see all the red. This is like a really good spot. Pick this and we can add. Here they're maybe more normal sized. The rest was kind of small. This looks, yeah, if you find big areas that it looks like this, then you could, with those picker things, you could literally pick big buckets, like get 100 liters per day. I'm just hand picking a little bit today. But yeah, there was an article about a guy, he said he picks 400 liters in a day. If you can do that many days, then that's already like serious money. Serious money if you can do that. Then you need some big areas with good berries too. Yeah, these are more normal sized. That's usually the size that the lingonberries are, like this size. This is like normal, but this year there's a lot of those really small ones. Small ones, unfortunately. Continues here to the left. I think we can find couple of more spots with good stuff. So back here was also just a little patch, but it's pretty good patch. Yeah, if you can get that much in a few seconds, if you would have the picker, you could just it would literally take minutes to fill that. If you can find spots where it looks like this. Adds up quite quickly. But yeah, not too many really good spots like this. It's just very, very small areas. Blow the trash away. If you do this blow like an move them from hand to hand. That's exactly pretty much like how the combine cleans the grain. It moves the grain and then there's wind coming from underneath. That's pretty much how the combine cleans the grain. Same principle. Okay, we got there's a little bit. There was somewhere a little bit. We don't need that much, then this one is pretty full actually. If I put some effort in, we can definitely feel it today. I've just been kind of lazy. More doing the walking and not so much picking. Here was a very little patch, but again, good stuff. Definitely 70% full now. If we can find a few more good spots, then it's going to be pretty much full. Usually if I pick a little bit more serious, or if it's like a decent berry year, then I bring like 10-liter buckets and try to fill 1 or 2 of those. But then you definitely want to have the picker not pick just bit the hands, because it's going to take way too long. So much faster with those, even just hand picking tools. It's kind of like there's even the really serious guys, they even use like, it's like almost like a rake. Then you just rake it and have like a big bag and just rake it in straight in, into a big bag. I don't really use that. The pickers we have there, it's like not a bucket, but it's like a box that it has like, it's like got fingers like this in the front, and then when you drag that through the berries, and it collects all the berries. And so of course some leaves and some junk too, but it's a lot faster that way. There could be like close to the very big rock that's maybe 100 meters that way. There could be some lingonberries too. Maybe we'll leave a little room for that. Yeah, there's not much. It's not full, but it's like 70% full. There's a good spot here. It's always close to stumps, it seems. Maybe the decomposing stump is like giving its nutrients back out, and then the lingonberries catch that and grow. It's again an old stump, and then around here on the side there's a really good patch. Very small patch, but a pretty good one. Now we're back up on the hill again. Pretty good views here. That way we can see maybe a couple of kilometers over the fields. The furthest points. Just in maybe 5 to 10 years, then the forest has grown back again, then we can't see anywhere from here. Right now there's pretty good views. Or do we get the hiccups all of a sudden? Oh, there was something there. Something has been digging in this old anthill too here. I don't know if this is the wild boar. Something has been digging here in this old. It seems like an old anthill because I don't see any ants. Once this all decomposes a little bit, this could also be a good spot for some berries to grow. Lingonberry hiccups. Yeah, maybe it's that. And there's a mushroom. Seen a few mushrooms now. That one looks, yeah, something has eaten on that already. It's like half gone. And somewhere in these pines above us, we definitely have either a squirrel or like a woodpecker like place where they like to eat, because just look at this here, full of cones, full of pine cones. There's literally like hundreds and hundreds of pine cones here in one spot. So there's probably, they usually like the birds, they sometimes, if they find like a wedged place up in the tree, then they put the cone there, and then they can pick at it when the cone is kind of wedged in there. And then after they've done one, like eaten up all the seeds, then they throw it down. That's why you can usually find like these piles of cones. There's like a lot of, you can see a lot of cones here. It's like the ground is covered in cones. This is like pine cones. This one isn't definitely eaten. This one is like unopened. But let's say, yeah, this one is kind of eaten. The ones that are opened up, well, this is a spruce cone. This looks kind of opened up, so they eat the seeds from in there. But yeah, you can always find, even on the farm, there's like one tree in their garden that has like a big pile underneath, and it's the same phenomenon as here. Like normally there's not that many cones, and then all of a sudden you see thousands of cones. So we're basically under the dinner table of some animal there. It eats up above and then throws the leftovers down. Okay, now it gets a little tricky. I think the border goes like here. I can go a little bit around here. Oh boy, there's a lot here. Guess we just pick here so we can maybe fill this one completely up. Whole squirrel family lives there. It might be, there could be a lot of them. We didn't hear any squirrel sounds because sometimes the squirrels can be pretty loud. So when you go into their territory, they actually start like hissing and having all kinds of sounds. They're pretty territorial, I think. But yeah, we didn't hear anything, but maybe that squirrel wasn't so aggressive. Or maybe it could have been definitely a woodpecker too. I think they do the kind of same thing. Or maybe it's actually the woodpecker that does that more than the squirrels. The squirrels, they have two hands, but the woodpecker doesn't really have hands, so it can only pick at the food. So I think it's the woodpeckers that do it more, I think. Make sure we don't tip over the bucket again. Last time I think we picked some raspberries and I dumped a little bit of the bucket somewhere when it almost fell over. Yeah, a little bit more, then it's actually full. Can probably find the rest somewhere here, close by. Maybe on the next hill there. So yeah, if we can find this amount pretty easily here, just hand picking, I'm sure if you find some actually good lingonberry grounds, where you have large areas with good amounts, you could pick big amounts. If you're a pro, apparently you can pick 400 liters in a day, that's definitely crazy. I thought maybe if you're a good picker, you could maybe pick like 100 liters. But yeah, if you pick 400 liters, then you're definitely not doing it like this. You definitely have your big rake that you go through stuff. Otherwise, it's definitely not possible. Big rake and you're pushing like a long day probably. Picking the whole day. What was that? There's some birds going from the trees there. Maybe that was the woodpeckers or something. Or maybe some bigger bird. I could hear some like bigger birds flying. Not the bear still. Something else rather big, but not bear sized yet. Now we're pretty much full. We can maybe fit a little bit there, but I guess the only benefit when picking by just hands, it's clear immediately, or clean. I don't need to clean this anyway. If you pick with the picker, there's always going to be some junk in there that you have to run it through some sort of cleaner. Yeah, down into the jungle we go. We gotta find our way that way to the big Sus rock. It might be easier if we walk in the neighbor's forest there. It's a little bit older, so it's a little bit easier to walk through. I think this is gonna be a mess to walk through here. Kinda dense. Should work since I have gone through this with the brush cutter, so it's not overly dense, but it might still be easier over there. If we can get down this pretty rocky section here. I think we can pick this, then we can almost call our bucket full. Here's again these really small berries. These have kind of dried up. Some green ones in there almost. Yeah, let's go here. So this forest, a little older. I think they already thinned this out once. That's why it's much easier to walk here. Not too dense. Then we just gotta keep our bearings and try to go in that direction, not too far off over there. Otherwise we will end up in the wrong place. We see a lot of plants here. But this is all blueberry. So if there would be a rainy year, man, you could find a lot of blueberries here. The last good blueberry year was 2000. It was like 2018 or 2019 maybe, or maybe it was 2020. Yeah, it's definitely been a few bad years now for the berries. Too dry for the berries in the forest here. But yeah, this is mainly pine forest here, you can see. Mainly pine trees here also. Sus rock must be coming up here soon. there's a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see soon. This one is big, but it's not anything compared to the one we're going to see here soon. That rock almost already is kind of cube-like, a little bit cube-like, but not as much as the next one. Or the next one has a lot more smooth sides. There's kind of a path here. Wonder, this is probably some wildlife path here. Some sort of animals that like to. Animals also kind of walk along paths. And you can sometimes even pretty clearly see the path sometimes. Yeah, so this stuff here was brush cut. Was it last summer? Did I do this last summer? It was either last summer or the summer before. It probably was last summer. So then I did go through all this, cut down some unwanted stuff. So this looks good now. This is maybe, what would I say without lying too much? This is maybe 10 years ago since we planted this. So if the 2020 stuff was like this high, then in 5 years it's going to look like this. 6 years. Like this you could start to call a forest again, I think. Looks good here. It's really from this point forward, it's really going to grow now. The trees are so big now that the moose can't damage them anymore. The grass isn't damaging them anymore. And as long as you got the trees spaced out a little so they have room, they will really grow from this point. Pretty happy how this looks. But yeah, here's the first guy. This is huge already, but this isn't like perfectly cube-like. It's already a big boulder. It's like almost like a cave underneath. But it's relatively small rocks otherwise, and then you have this like a house-size boulder all of a sudden. Lift you guys slightly up. I think that's a big one. What would I say? 6-7 meters high. Maybe the same size is on the sides. Pretty big. Live anthill. Still some action, but I think the ants want to start to hide soon too. Wait for next summer. So yeah, here it's kind of boulder fieldy, but we still got some trees planted in between. So it's even here where the soil is like, it looks like nothing could grow here. You can pretty much get a good solid forest here too. Just plant the trees around the boulders and then they will grow still. Not the best soil and definitely not farmable here, but forest still grows. Yeah, that was huge. Look at this guy. Oh yeah, this guy is the big guy. This is the back side, and it's kind of a little bit suspiciously looking. It's not super straight here, but when you go to the other side. But yeah, right there, if you would be like a conspiracy guy, you could probably see that almost like the hole in the rock there. It almost looks like it goes like this, and then there's like a little piece like this. It almost looks like a cross. If the other side there would have a little bulge too, like this one has like, it's almost like a cross. Almost. So if you would be a more conspiracy guy, then you would say that some Christian was here and put that in the rock there. I'm pretty sure it's just formed by nature. But yeah, here's like another, underneath this side, you can definitely make a kind of like a little thing to live here. If it would rain, then you could take cover here from the rain. If you go really close to the rock down here, then it's like there's an overhang. And then yeah, this rock from here, yeah, I can't really climb up. It would be really nice to climb up on this rock. It's really high, but this is the only way here, and it's like it's vertical here. I would need, if you would get up there once, then you could put maybe a rope down, then you could climb up, or you'd need a ladder here, because this is kind of the lowest side. And if we go to the other side, then it's yeah, if that was alien spaceship. Here's the border. So the funny thing is also the border goes like right here. So this rock is basically exactly marks where the border is here. Neighbor's forest, the farm's forest. So this whole rock is on our side, so to speak, or it's on the farm. I guess it was easy to make a border there when it's like, this is a pretty good marker for the border. Now if you see this side, like look at how smooth this is. It's completely flat and smooth, like a big surface here. This is all like flat. And then this corner is kind of the best corner, I think. Yeah, so this corner is like, it's almost like 90 degrees. And then you have another perfectly flat surface. If you look from here, you can see how flat this is. It's perfectly, almost doesn't look like man-made. There's a little piece coming off maybe. That's a little flake. A little piece came off. But yeah, it's a pretty big rock. Cool rock. I agree. Cool rock. Like these two sides, impossible to climb up. It's perfectly flat and straight up. And it's on the highest point here, so it's very weird. Like the biggest rock is up on the highest point. Like you can see the fields are down there. In every direction the terrain goes down. And then up on the very highest point you have this mega huge rock. Very, very odd. The Ice Age definitely did some weird things. Placed rocks in some very peculiar locations. Or maybe it's an alien spaceship. Oh boy, look at what I found. On the shirt, an actual tick. I have never found a tick on me. Look at this guy. That's an actual tick. We definitely want to get rid of this guy. Now that could be a bad guy. I definitely gotta check myself when I go in the shower. That was an actual tick. Those are not nice, guys. That's probably the most scary animal in the forest. That's more dangerous than bears and stuff. Like they could carry some pretty nasty diseases. So yeah, when I go home I definitely gotta check myself for ticks. Kind of happy that it was just crawling on the t-shirt here. I have a white t-shirt, so it's kind of easy to find. Or I'm happy I had a white shirt, and I could see it easily. Yeah, tick check. Tick check needs to be done later today. That's the first time I found a tick on me. Previously, I've only seen ticks on like the cat. So there's definitely some around. Yeah, we just gotta find our way out of the forest first before we can do anything else. I think we should go that way. That way down the hill. But yeah, ticks, not nice. Not nice, guys. Not nice guys at all. We found our way to the field. I see the field again. I also see more. Oh shit, that was not good. I thought it was a wild boar hole. Do you know what it was, guys? It was some ground, like, is it hornets in English? Or ground bees. So definitely another potentially scary thing there. I'm glad I didn't step into it. Holy moly. Those could definitely sting you. And I have definitely, like when I've done brush cutting in the forest, then you're kind of not looking at the ground, then you just walk around, and then I've definitely stepped into the nests like that. And then when you have the brush cutter running, you also can't hear the buzzing. So then the first thing you notice is when there's a lot of bugs flying around, and then maybe one is like stinging you. And then it hurts like hell. It's happened to me like at least 3 times in the forest. Then the first thing you notice is when it's stinging you somewhere, like in the neck or somewhere where you don't have protection. That's why I like to do the forest work with like a proper long-sleeved like jacket on. But they still always find like some spot where your skin is not covered. And then it hurts. And then when you notice it, yeah, you run fast. Even if you're in the middle of the forest, you're carrying the brush cutter, you're gonna be running pretty fast. Once you notice that there's one has stung you and there's like tens of them, if not hundreds, buzzing around you, then you get pretty Usain Bolt. You get the Usain Bolt speed at that point. Holy moly. Pretty close that I didn't step into the nest. Luckily I saw it. But yeah, it's like ground hornets or ground bees. They actually have the nest like it's in the ground or underneath like a pile of branches. They're really like you don't really see them if you walk unless you're looking down all the time. So they're pretty hard to notice. But yeah, we didn't have much danger there, but at the end there we had a couple of not so nice encounters. First a tick, and then some ground bees or whatever. Both are not nice. Yeah, here in the sun now, it is warm still. But yeah, only need to suffer one more day in the heat. On Saturday it's supposed to cool down like 7 degrees, so big thumbs up to that. I've had enough of this hot weather. So yeah, we didn't see the bear. But we saw probably two more likely candidates of danger in the forest there. Ticks and hornets or bees or whatever it's called. Those both are a lot more likely. You're a lot more likely to bump into them. Yeah, I like it more when I have some like forest work planned, and for that it's so much nicer when it's cool. It's like 3 times better when it's cool. Maybe the bear is still coming, yeah. Frog, yeah. Maybe they find out soon that the frogs spread some deadly disease. COVID 2.0, only spread by frogs. Yeah, we need to fill up this pile. Of course, there's no rush now, but before next spring I want this pile to be pretty high here and go maybe to this location here. A nice pile of firewood. We just have a little starter pack there right now. But yeah, that's probably gonna be it for today. I need to go take a shower and do a tick check. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.
Though it's hard, I know I gotta keep up. No time to late to drift away. I fill my space, I spend my time down the rabbit hole again. And as I fall, I can feel the pain. You can't tell me where to go, so I don't know, I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. I'm falling up, I'm falling down, from the sky and from the ground. Up above just like below, and I don't know where I should go. 'Cause I'm stuck in limbo. I'm out of love, but I guess I deserved it. Trying to hide, to pass you by. I'm getting down, feeling fine. I'm light as air, no one can reach me. Lost in a dream, lost in between. Let's keep on flying, let's keep on breathing. I'm falling up, I'm falling